It takes place in the same continuity as the DCAU. The DCAU includes Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Zeta Project, Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, Batman the New Adventures, and I believe I'm missing one more, but I don't remember. But trust me, there's a lot of TV shows in the DCAU, and movies, including Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, etc. This comic starts off with Amazo blasting throughout space, questioning their existence and looking for answers on who they are. It also should be noted that Amazo here is referred to as both she and he, and even they at different times throughout this comic. I'm unsure if this was purposeful, as they're only referred to as she at one point. Quickly transitions to John Jones in the form of a woman, talking to an elderly man on a park bench about his sick son. After this, we get narration from John revealing he's been traveling the world ever since quitting the Justice League, trying to help others with their family issues. He's been changing race, gender, age, etc. every couple months. This man with a sick son has been his newest friend, trying to give him someone to talk to about his family as John lost his family on Mars. He can't disclose this with a man, of course, because John's pretending to be someone he's not. We then see Wally quickly racing to the Hall of Justice, where he's given a surprise birthday party with the following workers present: Batman, Wonder Woman, Ice, Fire, Superman, Big Barda, Blue Beetle, Elongated Man, Booster Gold, Hawkgirl, Vixen, Green Lantern, Mr. Miracle, and Red Tornado. That this is the first birthday party he's actually ever had, and how his family never even gave him one, to which Wonder Woman tells him that they are his family. During the party, we get a flirty moment between Batman and Diana, where he tells her that she would know that he was bad when it comes to expressing his own feelings. Because in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, Batman and Diana had a flirtation, including a time where Batman sang in order to make Cersei turn Diana, who was a pig at the time, back to human. It was great stuff. Kind of confusing, but, it's comics. We then pan away to Hawkgirl and Vixen talking about Hawkgirl's recent vacation, when John comes up to them to asking if they are talking about him, to which Hawkgirl tells him the world doesn't revolve around him before walking away. Hawkgirl seems to have gone out to a patio, but it looks like she's on the roof. I'm a little confused, but either way, she's outside alone. I don't know how she even got outside, didn't show her flying out, or... I'm very confused what happened between panels. I'm certain there's a reason, I'm just stupid. But either way, she's talking to herself outside about her past relationship with John. She talks about how he really meant a lot to her, and that he was what made her betray the Thanagarians. Yet, she doesn't know if she still loves him or not. He's still able to get underneath her skin, though, which to her is an issue. He's interrupted by a boom tube with Granny Goodness and an army of parademons rushing out of it ready to attack the Justice League. We then are shown Amazo again. He's in an on-glass reality screaming about how he feels like his soul is echoing, but then questions if he even has a soul at all, and starts to freak out about it. Let's break out this small glass reality as he's freaking out about not having a soul, and he makes a small crack in the glass with something leaking out of it. Back in the battle, while Booster Gold goofs off while trying to eat cake at the same time as fight, Calabac now shows up, revealing that there's actually a civil war between Granny Goodness and Calabac ever since Darkseid left Apokolips. This is really interesting to me because we never actually saw Darkseid leave Apokolips. We last saw him, dying, not leaving. So I'm kind of confused if he's still alive, because he supposedly died at the end of Justice League Unlimited, yet here he's being referred to as only having gone, just left. We then see that John is telepathically feeling all these events that is happening in his sleep. He's about to head out to help with the fight, but stops himself thinking that they have it covered, or nor does he not want to fight again. The fight comes to an end after Mr. Miracle and Big Barda team up to suck both Calabac and Granny Goodness back into the boom tubes, which I know sounds really wrong, but I don't know any other way to phrase that other than them sucking them back into the boom tubes. The comic ends with Superman and Lois Lane out on a date, but then we're treated to another panel of the cracked mirror before Superman at the dinner table is actually replaced with Overman. Overman, if you don't know who that is a Nazi version of Superman from Earth X. Earth X also heavily included in the Arrowverse crossover called Crisis on Earth X. Because, it's called Earth X. I personally really enjoyed this comic, but a storytelling of the infamous Final Crisis comic book, which is, usually has mixed reactions to when you bring it up, about the whole Batman dying situation and Darkseid mob boss situation, but this comic seems to be more tackling the idea of the concept more than bringing in every single thing from that comic in. For example, Martian Manhunter doesn't seem to have died in this comic. Instead, he's has a really big role. And I like that they're incorporating the Final Crisis storyline into the DCAU continuity, because you can't do the Final Crisis storyline in the DCAU continuity while making changes. And the changes they are making, and they're paying attention to the continuity they've already created. And personally, I have zero complaints of this. I'm also very interested in what's going on with the Civil War on Apokolips. I'm unsure if we'll see any more of that or not. I personally would really like to see more of that, because I find that very interesting. I find it also very interesting that it's Granny Goodness versus Calabac. So I remember in the DCAU, just like Unlimited, when Darkseid was, presumed dead, it was Granny Goodness versus Desaad. But Desaad's nowhere to be seen, and now Calabac's taking his role. Like my current review, I'll be talking about every character with an importance to this issue one by one. Some characters will be grouped together, though, because I think that there's just not enough for them to get their own separate category. So there are a lot of characters in this issue, some of whom don't even talk, so I won't be mentioning them. Sorry to Fire, Ice, and Red Tornado. And while I liked what they had to do, they didn't have much to be covered, so sorry to Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, Vixen, and the Cake Lovers, who are Elongated Man, Blue Beetle, and Booster Gold, which I didn't exactly talk about too much in this review. But there is a subplot where Booster Gold, Elongated Man, and Blue Beetle are trying to eat the birthday cake throughout the battle, which I didn't really talk about because I was trying to get to more like the summary of the book rather than everything else that's going on in it. So I didn't mention the comedic stuff. So it was still good, but it was just not enough for me to cover, I think. Up with the narrator of this issue, John Jones, aka the Martian Manhunter. This comic seems to be trying to introduce the idea that John is actually gender fluid, which I think is going so far very well. I also really enjoyed this interpretation of his interaction with his old man at the start of the book, as it showed his compassion for others. Martian Manhunter has always been one of my favorite characters, and I personally enjoyed this direction so much I would be up to seeing it in the mainstream depictions of him too. Meanwhile, we also saw a different side of Amazo, about how he seems to be lost, not knowing who he is, but this journey to find himself just ends up unleashing the multiverse, which I am really, really excited for. Although, personally, I'm not a big fan of the Earth X stuff, because, it's Nazis, and, who likes Nazis? But I would really like to see maybe, like, Earth 2, Earth 3. I like the Crime Syndicate a lot, and I also really like the Justice League Society. The Justice Society of America. I kept on trying to call them the Justice League of Society. Either way, I'm really excited to see more of the multiverse explored. And through the DCAU, as maybe they'll make slight changes. See a more vulnerable side of Hawkgirl. We saw how she feels about her past relations with John, reflecting that he's with Vixen, who she's actually friends with, and that maybe she still does love him a little bit, which personally I am actually rooting for Hawkgirl and John to be together because of their chemistry on the original Justice League show. Although, in all fairness, I do think Vixen, in a way, is a little bit open with the idea that Hawkgirl might still like John. But the fact that there's literally an episode where Vixen considers, telling Hawkgirl to hook up with her boyfriend while she's gone, which I thought was a little bit weird, but that's not in this comic book. That's about an episode of Justice League, so I shouldn't be talking about that here. Either way, I am really enjoying this, what's it called? Triangle, love triangle. I almost called it a threesome, but that is a very different word. I'm really enjoying this love triangle between the three of them, and I hope to explore it more. I hope to see more of it. Crap, I messed up, but I am not editing that out because I would take too long. Here, the Flash is Wally West, not Barry Allen, because at the time the DCAU was created, the Flash in the mainstream comic books were Wally, because Barry died. It seems to be that Wally here is both professional and childish, which is very much like Wally. I'll be honest, I've never really cared too much for Wally West as the Flash, because I grew up with Barry Allen as the Flash. But after what they did to him in Future State, I think any Wally West fan will be really happy to see what they do with him here, because the character assassination DC's been doing with him lately is ridiculous. And even though I'm not a Wally West fan myself, I can really understand frustration of Wally West fans about how his character is being treated so poorly as of late.